Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? So, Tao is the latest simply titled Netflix movie that we have, and if I'm being as straightforward as humanly possible, I would say that this movie is kind of a reverse version of Ex Machina somewhat, but it's also a version of that you would most likely find on the Syfy channel. But I have to say it would probably be one of the better made-for-TV movies, but sadly that's really not saying a whole lot due to the fact that, most made-for-TV movies really aren't shit to begin with. But anyway, the plot of the movie centers around a young lady who gets kidnapped by a mad scientist played by Ed Skrein, and he's running a bunch of tests on her, so she has to communicate with the AI that runs his house, which is voiced by Gary Oldman. And she tries to escape a bunch, there's a lot of battle of wits, and there's a lot of sci-fi shit that happens, so that's basically the movie. And overall, I have to say, it's really not a bad movie, but just the quality of filmmaking doesn't make it look like a super professional production. Overall, the acting is really not bad. However, there were some scenes where the actors felt like a little bit wooden or like they didn't really give a shit, but there was definitely nothing special in that department. Gary Oldman does a pretty good job doing the voice of the AI, but I mean, realistically, he probably went into a sound booth and knocked that out in 2 days, so it's not like he put in that much effort. And the special effects could have probably used another 6 months worth of rendering, but I mean, you knew what you were looking at on screen. Like, it didn't look like pixelated bullshit. But as with a lot of sci-fi movies, a lot of like the production design and like all the visuals in the movie looked super dope. And the movie did drum up some really good scenes of suspense where I was actually kind of like glued to the screen. Like, I was really interested to see what was going to happen next. Also, the movie randomly threw in this really nice little jump scare out of nowhere. And I want to say that the movie's kind of lazily written because there are a couple things that are like blatant plot holes that probably could have been explained by like a couple minutes of dialogue. But despite that, there's actually a couple like random strokes of genius throughout the movie, i.e., like when the jump scare happens, and there's a couple other things. But then there's also a couple movie conveniences, which some of you have heard me come up with before. But the idea behind the whole AI was actually kind of a cool concept, and there's a couple like philosophical things that are kind of like touched on in the movie. And the closest thing I could compare those to was the character of David from some of the newer Alien movies about like being created and your creator, that kind of thing. And I also like the way the movie ended, even though it was a little bit contrived, I'll be honest with you. And some of you guys know I'm kind of a sucker for sci-fi movies, but if a movie sucks, I'll usually call it out. And realistically, this movie could have been a lot better, but it didn't suck. So I think overall for a score, I'm gonna give it a 6.2 out of 10. Not the best movie in the world, but it wasn't a total waste of time, and if somebody popped it on and I just happened to be there, I'd probably sit down and watch it for a little bit at least. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie? Have you heard of it? Hop in the comments. Let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, all that other bullshit, and I will catch you guys later.